Hello and welcome. The first sourcing opportunity I'd like to talk about is great for people that like to get up early in the morning. It's great for people that majority of their time spent sourcing is going to be on the weekend. And also it's a great sourcing opportunity for individuals who like to haggle. And that would be garage sailing and yard sales. Now, this is a brilliant sourcing opportunity because most of the time when people are having yard sales and garage sales, they just want to get rid of it. They want it out of their house. So you're going to have a lot of opportunities to get things for very cheaply. And as I mentioned, haggle. So if you end up making a big pile, you can probably work out a deal with whoever's running the garage sale and yard sale. Now, there are some drawbacks to the sourcing opportunity. If you live somewhere up north where it gets snow on the ground, chances are you're not going to have a yard sale and a garage sale every weekend, versus if you're living in Florida or in like Southern California, chances are there's a yard sale or garage sale going on every weekend or all of the time. So the second sourcing opportunity I like to discuss are the bins, otherwise known as the Goodwill Outlet. Something you may not realize is that Goodwills are actually regional. So they are divided up into separate regions, and each region actually has its own set of rules and pricing. So my Goodwill bins is very complicated with how they do their pricing structure. Shoes have a separate price, books have a separate price, housewares have a per pound price, but it's different than the per pound price for clothing. And then I've also been to bins where it doesn't matter what it is $2.09 per pound. So you would have to check out the bins near your area as to how pricing goes and to what's available in your bins, because my bins doesn't have glass and ceramics, but I have been to some that do have those. And then I've also been to bins that don't have any books, but that's one of my favorite things to source at my bins. But the per pound price is probably one of the best and cheapest ways to get a lot of inventory at one time. I mean, I've seen plenty of people source like 50 to 100 pounds at a time at these Goodwill outlets. So it is a great sourcing opportunity, and it is one I highly recommend, and one that I actually go to a little bit too often. So the third sourcing opportunity I'd like to talk about would be mom and pop thrift shops. I just talked about probably one of the biggest chains of thrift stores in the United States, but mom and pop thrift shops can sometimes have sales and deals that have even better pricing or comparable pricing to what you can get at the Goodwill outlets. So what I would recommend doing is to go onto Google Maps and just type in thrift stores, or go into Google or Bing or whatever search engine you want to use, and type in local thrift stores or thrift stores around me, and see if there are any small church or mom and pop thrift stores. And then once you find them, maybe go look them up on Facebook, because the majority of these small thrifts are going to be doing all of their promotions on Facebook. And that's where you're going to find out deals, like if they're doing a buy one get one free. I recently went to Helping the Homeless, which is a small church thrift in Gloucester, and I walked in there and they were doing a buy one get one free sale. And at that point, it made each piece of clothing like less than $2 per piece, which is roughly equivalent to bins pricing. These small thrift stores on their Facebook pages, that's also where they're going to be announcing bag sales, which is where like you get a big bag and you can just fill it up for like $5 to $10. But they're going to be doing those announcements more than likely on Facebook. So I would recommend going on to whatever search engine it is and just to see what's around you, and then to see if maybe you can get some better deals than if you went to a regular big box thrift store or going to the bins. And now I do know some people don't like Facebook, but it can be a useful tool, and just view it as that. Just use it, just view it, and just view all of it as one giant tool, okay? And that'll maybe make you feel a little bit better about using it in order to get better sourcing opportunities for your business. So the fourth sourcing opportunity I like to discuss is estate sales. Now, estate sales are one of the sourcing opportunities that I found in my area where I've had the best success sourcing a large amount of items for literal pennies at sometimes. And that is because of my strategy when I go to look for which estate sales I want to check out. So whenever I am looking online to see what estate sales are in my area that weekend, I am looking for houses that are packed full. So packed where they're like, give you maybe a handful of pictures and they're just like, just come. just come, because there's just too much. We can't take pictures of all of it. That's a great thing to look at. If they've just got a handful of pictures where it's like, here's a closet, here's a full garage, and like there's no other things there, like they're not like taking out the Royal Dalton and taking individual pictures of each thing, and they're not taking the time to identify most of the items, that's an estate sale I will go to, because chances are it's just like, make me an offer. And also I normally will go 2 days to the estate sale. If it's a multi-day estate sale, I will go on the second day and I will go on the last day. And that is because on the second day, I'm going to see what they have and to see if I did well picking the correct estate sale. And I will go on the last day because that's the day when they're just like, they're fire sailing everything. That is what I do when I go to source at estate sales. I have gone to multiple estate sales where I have just made a pile of clothing, beautiful vintage clothing, or just regular like modern clothing, and paid less than $1 per piece. And I've just come out with a full car. I've also gone to estate sales where they were just like, make me an offer. So like, all right, well, how about I fill up my car and I'll give you $100 and we're good. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. So, and that's how I look at estate sales. I look for houses that are completely full to the point where it looks like it's a hoarded situation. Sometimes it actually is. And I go on the second day to see what's there, and I go on the last day to get the best deals. I will buy stuff on the second day just if it's something that's really valuable, like if I pick out specific things that I know should not still be there on the second day, you know, pieces of Pyrex or beautiful vintage dresses that have been pulled out of a closet that I found somewhere. I just want to say, like, if you've never been to an estate sale before, give it a go. I had never been to an estate sale before I started reselling, and now I go to one almost every other weekend. It just depends on if there's one in my area. And like I said, I probably have like 50% of my inventory that I have currently in my online reselling shops have come from estate sales. So it's an amazing sourcing opportunity. It's not going to be the same everywhere. I know I'm very privileged where I am here in Virginia. I did try to go to an estate sale, a couple of estate sales in San Diego when I was visiting in California. That's a whole other animal, but just check to see what's near you. You never know. There might be some gems in there. And again, if it's something that you haven't tried before, give it a try. And the fifth and final cheap sourcing opportunity I want to discuss, and by cheap I mean almost every time free, is your friends and family. And I don't mean go to their house when you're over there for Thanksgiving and like take stuff out of their closet. I mean, like, tell your friends and family what you do. You might be surprised at how willing your friends and family are to support what you do, because a lot of times when people clean out their closet, they're just going to donate it anyway. And then if you tell them how much of the stuff that they donate just ends up in landfills, actually, you'd be surprised how much faster they're willing to give it to you versus like donate themselves. And I mean, if you've been a part of my channel for a while, you hear me mention and thank my friends Donna, my mom, my friends Ernie and Carolyn, my aunt Lisa. There have been so many people in my life that once I started to resell it, this is my job, have been more than willing to be like, here is bags of stuff. Pick what you want out of it, resell it, and the rest of it, donate it. It's yours now, you deal with it. And I'm very grateful for that. I have made a lot of money off of stuff that my friends and family have donated. And then also, if you end up being a YouTuber and a reseller, you'll be surprised at your internet friends what they're willing to chip in as well. I mean, I've personally sent stuff to other resellers when they're going through a hard time, of stuff that I know that they would like to resell. And I've received stuff from other resellers of stuff that maybe they found that they don't want to resell, but they have donated to me because they know that I will find it another home. So tell people what you do. You'll be surprised at how generous people are, how people are willing to support you in that way. So those are the 5 cheapest ways that I have found to source inventory. If you haven't tried any of these before, I do recommend them. You'd be surprised that maybe you might find one that you really love. I know for me, estate sales were a big surprise that I would love it. and also just how generous my friends and family have been. So I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye!